Somewhere up in these mountains, a fire is burning. You hear the thing before you see it, a laugh too deep for any man, iron dragging over stone. Then the light finds it, red skin, fangs, and 2 horns over a tiger skin loincloth. Every culture invented a demon. But Japan's demon is a riddle. Why the horns? Why always the tiger? The answer is hiding inside a compass. Tonight, the One. Welcome back to Yokai Night. One yokai a night, its history, the customs that made it, the old legends, and its monster cousins around the world. Tonight we draw the king of them all. The One. Meet the One, Japan's demon. It's one true ogre. A giant, head and shoulders above any man, skin bright red or deep blue, wild hair, and a mouthful of fangs.
Oh, I know this monster. It's the one from Momotaro, the Peach Boy story.
The very same. Momotaro sailed to Demon Island to fight these fellows, the first monster most Japanese children ever meet. Watch Demon Slayer or Urusei Yatsura. Then you already know its grandchildren. Hold that thought for the end. But look closely at the uniform. 2 horns. And always, a tiger skin around the waist. That isn't fashion. That's the riddle from our cold open, and it has a real answer. Now, where does a demon come from? Here's the strange part, the first One had no body at all. The old word is said to come from a term meaning hidden. The One was the unseen thing behind plague, famine, and the noise on the wind at night.
So Japan had a demon, with no face to fear?
Until Buddhism arrived, carrying picture-perfect visions of hell all the way from India. Scrolls like this one painted the underworld in fire, and gave the fear a body at last. The One became hell's wardens, horned giants who punish the wicked below. That's the demon's day job to this very day.
Okay, but the riddle. Where do the horns and the tiger skin actually come from?
From a compass, as promised. People believed misfortune entered from the northeast, a direction they called the Kimon, the demon's gate. And on the old zodiac compass, the northeast sits exactly between 2 animals, the ox and the tiger. So the demon wears them. Ox horns on its head. Tiger skin on its hips. Japan built its monster out of bad luck itself. By the Edo period, artists like Toriyama Sekian had fixed that look in their bestiaries, and it never changed again. Keep the compass in mind, at the end of tonight, it's going to bend the corner of an emperor's palace. Every demon needs a king, and Japan's was Shuten Doji, the drunken demon lord of Mount Oe, northwest of the capital. 1,000 years ago, the story goes, people were vanishing from Kyoto's streets, carried off to his mountain fortress.
And who on earth gets sent to fix that?
This man, Minamoto no Raiko, the court's monster hunter-in-chief, with his 4 legendary retainers. Remember the face, he'll be back in another episode, against a giant spider. Raiko knew strength wouldn't win. So the warriors dressed as humble mountain priests, climbed to the fortress, and offered the demon king a gift, socket laced, the tale says, with a poison the gods themselves had provided.
They got the king of demons drunk at his own party.
Blind drunk. And when the great One finally snored, they struck off his head, and even then it rose, snapping, and bit down on Raiko's helmet. The old prince loved that moment, power that doesn't know it has already lost. His lieutenant was tougher still. At Kyoto's Rashomon Gate, the demon Ibaraki Doji lost an arm to the swordsman Watanabe no Tsuna, who locked the trophy away. Days later, Tsuna's elderly aunt came visiting, begging one look at the famous arm. He opened the chest, and his aunt grew horns, snatched it, and tore a way through the roof. The demon had come for what was his.
So, even beaten, and One never, ever gives up.
That's their whole character, relentless strength, beaten only by cleverness, and never for long. Hold on to brave Raiko, when we draw the earth spider one of these nights, he rides again. Now for the demon's toolkit. The weapon is the kanabo, a studded iron club no human could lift. Japan still says onene kanabo, an iron club for an one, extra power for the already unstoppable.
Lovely. So, how does an ordinary family fight that?
With beans. Every February at Setsubun, families hurl roasted soybeans out the door shouting one wa soto, fuku wa ochi, demons out, fortune in, usually at a parent wearing a plastic one mask. Though a few shrines shout the opposite, demons in, because they keep an one as their guardian god. Japan never quite agreed on whose side the demon is on. And in some places, the one still walks. In Ogre, in snowy Akita, the Narema Hagare stomp house to house every new year, straw coats, carved masks, roaring any crybabies in here. Locals will tell you they're not demons at all, but messengers of the gods. Down along the western coasts lurks the Oshi One, the ox demon, a horned head on a huge crawling body, haunting coves and river mouths. In Owa GMR they parade one through town every July, turned festival hero. And in the mountains of Nagano they tell of Momiji, a noblewoman of Togakushi whose grief and fury turned her, horn by horn, into a Kijo, the demon woman. The No stage carved that idea into a mask, the Han-Naya, jealousy frozen mid-transformation. Look at it, it isn't only frightening. It's grieving. Even a demon's eyes, the proverb says, no tears.
So the scariest one of all starts out as one of us.
And here's a thought, speculation, not scripture. Plague with no cure, storms with no warning, strangers beyond the mountains, every unexplained disaster needed a face. The one was that face, fear of the dark, given horns and a name. Now look past Japan, out beyond the firelight, because every culture put a great brute in its dark.
Let me guess. Big, strong, and not too bright?
In France, the ogre, the man-eating giant of the fairy tales, forever outwitted by clever children. In Norway, the troll, a mountain of muscle that sunlight turns to stone. And in India, the Rakshasa, the night demon of the epics, not just a cousin but the ancestor, its hell came to Japan scroll by scroll and gave the one its body. And in the Alps, Krampus, a horned, fanged demon who storms through midwinter villages to punish the wicked, the very image of an one at the festival door. Strength against cunning, everywhere on earth. So tell me, what great brute waits in the dark of your country's stories? Leave it in the comments. And you can walk straight into the legend. Mount Oa rises 2 hours from Kyoto, Shuten-Doji's own mountain, where a museum of demons and grinning one statues now greet hikers the demon king once devoured. In Kyoto itself, find the compass from our riddle written on the city. The great temple En Ryakji was set on the northeast mountain to plug the demon's gate, and the old imperial palace wall simply bends inward at its northeast corner, called Soru Gatsuji, so the unlucky corner never forms at all. Look up almost anywhere and the demon is on duty, the One Gawara, fierce-faced roof tiles, set there to scare off worse spirits. The thing Japan feared became the thing that guards it. And on screen the one never left, the demons of Demon Slayer and the Promised Neverland, Lum of Orusei Yatsura, Rem and Ram of Ria Zero, Hell's Bureaucrat in Hozuki no Reitetsu, Nubea's Demon Hand, Togenonki's heirs. The first monster a child meets never stops following us. So that's the one, a fear with no face, given a body by hell, horns by an ox, and a wardrobe by a tiger, all from one unlucky corner of the compass. If you ever stand before Kyoto's old palace, find the northeast corner and watch the wall quietly bend away from the demon's gate. Subscribe for a new yokai every few nights. Next time, a giant spider lurking in the dark beneath old Japan, with a grudge as old as the capital, the Tsukugumo. Until then, keep your beans handy. Also on Monster Atlas, our sister channel, charting folklore monsters from around the world.